I want to invite you to take a deep breath for a minute. You clicked on this for a reason. Maybe the reason is simply, man, take a couple deep breaths. And just feeling the difference when you intentionally commune with your breath. Remembering what the breath is ultimately. Breathing in spirit, communing back out with spirit. And just how powerful that is. And the intention of this offering is to ask you where you may have given your power away. And if you are ready to fully step back in to empowerment. As all empowerment comes from one thing. The power source that literally is in the air you breathe, that is beating your heart. And right now, especially in this world of always being quote unquote connected through social media, through Wi-Fi, even now, like where you would have had to run so many cords and virtually impossible, in the middle of the ocean to get Wi-Fi. It's like the satellites now. It's like the connectivity connecting us to everything out there has stolen our, I don't want to say the word stolen, no one can take anything from us, has allowed us to experience the difference when we are connected constantly to external power sources or other people's consciousness, thoughts, versus going within and connecting to our consciousness, intentionally streaming directly from our higher self, which is streaming directly from the Holy Mother and Holy Father of all that is, divinity. And it, if you've been someone who has ever been looking for peace externally or from manifesting more money, more material, different relationship, blah, 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 versus someone who has gone within and charged up from directly resourcing from the ultimate power source, there is nothing out there that can ever fulfill you or charge you up or give you empowerment like that power source, right? And it all becomes very laughable that we would ever seek it externally once we taste it from inside. And in this age of quote unquote connectivity to everything except our own intuition that society wants us to listen to, marketing, even thumbnails, right? Like how to make the best thumbnail to what? Capture someone's attention. It's like everything is designed to capture your attention, which, it does. It takes our attention away from within. Now, my intention behind all of my creations are truly to be in service to humanity, to help trigger us and invite us back to our internal power source. And so that truly is my intention, is to simply, let's take a breath. Let's remember what the breath is. Let's come back into our nature, which is a being of light having a human experience capable of resourcing divinity directly from within, not from without, and resourcing support from Mother Earth, from all of her natural cycles, from her teachings, right? Like, let's take a breath and remember where all power comes from. And this is just a reminder. I'm kind of sounding the alarm for those of us, especially in the United States, that we are about to enter into political season. And there is an attempt to hijack consciousness. Not a problem. Everyone's here to initiate and learn. We all are playing in the playground of form with our free will choice. We can choose where we put our attention. And as someone, and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to tell you this so that you can ask yourself if you catch yourself doing it, because I can tell you the difference in peace or anxiety. I don't know about you, but if you're ready for more peace and less anxiety, might want to try this on. It's so easy based on our limited understanding from what our personal experiences have been to want to take sides and label something as good or bad, right or wrong. And I'm not saying that there's not, obviously, murder and rape. Not good. However, I'm also saying that if we truly believe that everyone has a direct connection to their power source and has access to divinity, could we also accept the possibility that there are actually no mistakes, that everyone has created their higher selves, have created whatever it is that their human experience has been for their soul's greatest evolution, so that we don't get sucked in to needing to give our power away and leaking our power out by becoming split in our consciousness versus accepting polarity and duality as part of a unified whole. And then we feel separated, we feel something's missing, we don't feel whole, right? If our consciousness splits, that's when, there's fragmented pieces of us everywhere, we're chaotic, we're not whole, anxious, nervous, the list can go on. And what I have realized is even like listening to, let's say, something that agrees with my values or how I think and my limited awareness, that humanity would be better off if this leader was doing this, or if this leader was in power versus this leader, or this or that, right? Again, it can go on and on. Even when I'm listening to someone saying something that I agree, what I found was that I was still having the need to agree with them, so it was making something else wrong. And it was like getting this and it was still divisive for me, even listening to things that my human self, based on my personal experience, agreed with. It was still divisive within my consciousness for my great prayer to be vibrating as a unified whole within myself. And I just want to ask you if maybe that's the case for you. And it's like right now, I'll use a couple examples so you can see if this is the case for you. So right now we have the Middle Eastern wars, right? So some people want to tell you to stand with this side, other people want to tell you to stand with this side, and then other people want to tell you to either stand with your government or hate your government for standing with either side, right? Whatever that is. Then there's, things that are a little bit more close to home in terms of the gender ideology issues going on right now with gender confusion, gender disassociation, whatever you want to call it, right? Then there is the concept of wanting to emasculate men and label every quality of a man as toxic. And then telling women through the feminist movement that you really don't need a man. You really don't need someone to support you, that you can do it all, right? Have the kids, have the job, run yourself ragged, It's all good. You do it all. Don't take any support. Don't receive any help, right? We're also taking men out of, in the welfare state, we reward broken families. We actually pay people to get dads out of the house, right? Through tax dollars. Now, do I have a lot of thoughts and feelings around all of that as being right or wrong? I did. I did. But what I have realized through a great prayer to trust, it's like, how good does peace feel? It feels incredible. How good does it feel to be with someone that you trust? And then how does it feel to be with someone that you don't trust? There's a very different thing going on. If you are in a group or you're with someone that you trust versus needing to be with someone or around someone that you don't trust, like everything is different in the body, literally. The body is shut down, it's closed off. Now imagine trusting the divine plan for it all, for everything that's happening right now, for the wars, for the gender ideology, for the rise of the patriarchy, now for the fall of the patriarchy, for the rise of the feminist movement, and then kind of for the flip of the feminist movement where it may have kind of done some opposite of its intentions, from all of the things that we're witnessing in government coming to light, but not even the fact that these, this corrupt stuff is happening. It's like it needed to happen for the balancing of it all. And it's like, what if we trusted that? Like when you see something that enrages you and you just can't understand how this could be happening or how, someone could be so cruel or, fill in the blank. Like what if there was an underlying sense though, the root belief or the root sensation of trust, even amidst witnessing atrocities? Having that level of trust in divinity will allow you to be a torchbearer, will allow you to be a beacon of light and love. When we remember that every single particle does emanate from love, we're able to come back and we're able to collect any parts of us that have been fragmented or don't feel whole. And it's a process. I'm not saying like this is an overnight situation. But I do know that if we have the intention to trust, to have faith and trust, how they say faith can move mountains, I believe that. Because faith creates the space to trust. And when you can trust God and the universe, right? When you can trust the perfection of it all, when you can trust that duality is simply offering enough resistance in form to even give something form, you don't have to be at war with it. And as enough of us come back into that type of attunement to where we are now tuning forks of trust, we're vibrating to the frequency of trust. We're vibrating to the frequency of acceptance. We're vibrating to a frequency that opens us up to bliss. Because one who is in trust can experience bliss, even in the mundane. And we're literally, that's the vibration. So everywhere we go, everywhere we walk, we are literally laying a blessing in that matrix of form to raise the frequency. And that sounds really egotistical. It's like, is me just walking into Walmart really going to raise the frequency? Yeah. If you are literally in Walmart vibrating to a frequency of trust and joy and not looking around and needing to judge something as good or bad, absolutely. It literally, we're tuning forks, literally. Take two tuning forks together and they will eventually match up. Now, it is our responsibility to also not live in Walmart. I don't know that I'm strong enough for Walmart yet, you guys. I don't know. I haven't been to Walmart in a long time. Lord, give me the strength. But you, if you're still listening to this, you understand what I'm sharing with you in terms of all of this external is attempting to get our attention, but it is when we will place our attention to our true intent. Like, what is it that you want to be intentional about? I personally want to be intentional about having a incredible marriage with my husband. A strong, healthy body. It is my intention to have the strongest, healthiest body that I can. It is my intention to have the most thriving marriage possible for my level in this human lifetime. It is my intention to create containers of high frequency resonance that allows people to feel a deeper connection to their higher selves, to the natural world, and to divinity. And so if I am placing my attention on my intention, I am literally crystallizing. I want you to think about the word information. Information is a really awesome word. I think of intent. Right? And then formation, something's taking formation. So what happens when we begin to place our attention and our focus, right? Everybody's talking about, oh, I'm ADD. Like, I'm removing that from my vocabulary. I'm not ADD, right? And attention deficit disorder. Because we have been programmed, right, to place our attention on externals or what other people want us to put our attention on. I'm inviting you to place your attention on your higher self's wisdom, and then intend for your human self to align with your higher self, who knows far better than anyone, any guru, any book, anything, anyone, on your path to your highest potential, which I believe highest potential can also be seen as the greatest pleasure, peace, joy, and fulfillment in this lifetime, no matter what that is. Who's to say what that is for someone? And who's to say that all of this chaos, that all of these wars, that all of this division, that all of this tyranny, that all of this hatred that is bubbling in the cauldron, who's to say that we can't trust all of that as being a part of the perfect whole, but also taking radical responsibility for where our attention goes to fulfill not someone else's intent that's playing around and maybe some manipulation, tyranny, and all that stuff for what their soul's here to learn. I know what my soul is here to do, and that is to expand in more love. That is my great prayer. And so I have to be a good steward and use discernment to make sure I allow my attention to go to my intent so that my intent can actually take formation. And yeah, I'll gather a little bit of information here, a little bit of information there, but eventually, it literally takes formation. And then it's informing our consciousness constantly, right? Everything that we're projecting out through the power of our attention and our intention, it begins to project out all this crystallized information projecting back to us that it is immaterial. So yeah, I just really know that those of you who are attracted to this channel are truly taking up radical responsibility for your individual lives, which is the only way to actually help at the end of the day the quote unquote atrocities and the quite frankly some very just behavior that is unbelievable that we witness, and lack of compassion, all of those things that are taking place. It's like to be a torchbearer amongst all of that is incredible that you said yes to. And I just want to invite you not to lose hope or to let your light dim or to dim your light for others to be in that blinding light. Shine it brighter. Shine it brighter and brighter, which is another way of saying vibrate higher and higher. And I almost want to say vibrate faster. I don't necessarily even think that there's a like high and low. I think it's almost like faster and slower vibrations, and fast vibrations feel good. But then there's also the fastest vibration for me, which is like when I get into nothingness and I just, oh my gosh, surrender into the Holy Mother's womb. It's like, even like my breathing can stop. It's fascinating. They call it, I don't even know. I'm not even going to get into that. But just where's your intention? And then are you allowing your attention to go there, my friends, or to get hijacked? Empowerment right now, especially for those of us that are about to go through a rough political season. It is not a problem because we have this smoothness of not needing to label anything as good or bad, right or wrong, outside that's happening. But what we can do is use our direct power source to vibrate, to trust that it's all got a perfect plan, and that we know what we're here to personally do. And then everywhere we go, we serve effortlessly, simply by radiating the frequency of trust and aligning with our higher selves. And then, of course, yes, whatever it is that we're here to do, serve. I mean, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, you can be a janitor, you can be somebody who works for the environment, you can be somebody in the political system, right? It doesn't matter. As long as our frequency is attuned to faith and trust, and we're letting our higher self guide us, and we're placing our attention to our higher self, we will be able to serve in whatever system we are in that is allowing the heaven on earth paradigm to be birthed right now in human consciousness. So, done with the suffering, done with the victimhood. Yeah. Can I get an A freaking men? And the good news is it requires nothing and no one outside of you to turn that power switch back on anytime. Remember, the power of your breath can take you there. And of course, at Sovereign Temples, we have a lot of offerings and things like that to guide you back. We have a calendar dedicated to following natural cycles versus the artificial timeline that really slows us down and allows us to live like Mother Earth does while we're in earthly bodies, so that we can harness such a high frequency. Earth is really the best example of how to harness high frequency, and how she's able to recycle and just be totally regenerative. So we have that, and just any offering that you feel that could serve you, or a type of communion, reach out, let us know. We'd be happy to create one if it is something on your heart that could serve you. Always in prayer on what kind of offerings to make or what kind of communions with certain topics. So I would love to hear from you guys. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you on the next offering. All my love and light. Namaste.